neither of them are really happy in their relationship. They're both kind of trying to work on it. Like they don't have the emotional intelligence because they haven't watched Better Than Perfect podcast. Like she's just annoying and doesn't take care of herself anymore. And like, he's got these things. And then it's like, so you're unhappy.
So you have to live the rest of your life unhappy and you think you're going to make your kids' lives better by being unhappy.
Okay. But I think you're looking at two extremes, right? Because, and I agree. I mean, it would be really weird to be roommates, right? That kind of, but I think where a lot of people end up is in the middle where there's a lot of bitterness and they start to like have bitterness towards each other. I don't want to say hate, but in a way, like resentment towards each other. And so they're caught in the crazy cycle. And so they're neither of them are really happy in their relationship. They're both kind of trying to work on it. Like they don't have the emotional intelligence because they haven't watched Better Than Perfect podcast in order to be able to do that. So, which they should watch it. So, so the thing is that like, that's really, because that's who we're really asking the question to. It's not really a question for us as much.
Well, that's why it's kind of hard, right? Because like I answer things from my own experiences or the things that I've learned. And so I'm answering this question from our perspective, but I also understand that people aren't in our like situation.
Yeah.
So it's harder.
Yeah. It's the guy that's like...
It varies.
That's like wants to leave his marriage because his wife's a bitch, right? He's like, she turned into such a bitch. Like she's always nagging me. She's like, I'm on my case all the time. I mean, I still love her, but like she's just annoying and like just like she doesn't take care of herself anymore. And like, he's got these things. And then it's like, so you're unhappy. So how long are you going to be unhappy? And my answer to that guy, if I was coaching him, I'd be like, dude, no one forced you to get up at the altar and make this promise. Like, work on it, work with her, even if you feel like she's not working. Like, you made the commitment for life. You didn't, like, she's not abusing you, right? I mean, maybe, like, I think
verbally,
maybe in that case, But I think in the extreme case where you were talking about, like, if you just you didn't want to work on it and you're just trying to completely ignore someone, then that's like an emotional abuse. I think you're getting to that level where that's okay. Now it's like, okay, well, this person's actually being abusive. But I think in the case of like that guy, I would be like, no, you got to fucking stick it out. Like you have a family of kids. Like you can't just separate the family and do all this stuff just because you're not happy with the choice that you made now. Because I don't see anything like if you tell me, oh, she's physically abusive, or even if you say she's verbally abusive constantly or whatever, those pieces, then I could say, okay, yeah, this makes sense, or she's cheated on you. But other than that, hey, no, you got to stick it out. You got to stick it out for a long time.
But what about what you said before where you try for 3 months and you just focus on the other person and then you leave? That's not in your marriage. And also... what you just said, I feel like I understand, but it's also concerning because it's like, okay, let's use the example you used. Your wife's a bitch, right? There's nothing you can do. You need to stick it out. But like, so you have to live the rest of your life unhappy because like, you think you're going to make your kids' lives better by being unhappy. Like as someone who saw their parents unhappy from time to time.
Right. Yeah, but
it's like, I get it. Like, I'm not saying they should have instantly jumped to divorce, but I'm saying at the same time, like, that's the issue here, right? Is that your kids also seeing you unhappy and you two treating each other poorly or ignoring each other or whatever is happening or like calling each other names like that. You think it's better for your kids to stay, but that also damages them in a different way.
Well, but it's kind of a straw man argument because in the sense like in that case, right? You're not, most of the time, like 90% of the time, you get someone in that situation, they're not doing what they're supposed to be doing in the relationship. Like they think they are, because even the fact that they're saying, "Oh, my wife's a bitch," I already know there's something wrong with you because you just said that. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like you're not like that's not the person who has self-actualization and has worked on themselves. They don't say my wife's a bitch. They say, I'm having a lot of struggle with her. Like, I feel like she's not, like I'm trying to improve myself and trying to improve the relationship and I'm not seeing the response from her. And it's hard to, it's like, so, but I know I set that up with the thing, but what I'm saying is that in so many of those cases, it's like, no, you haven't done. That's where I think the 3-month thing comes in. Is it's like, if you have watched the Better Than Perfect podcast every week, all 50 episodes, and you know, and you've applied it, and you've tried to work on the relationship, and it is, and that it really seems like the issue is the other person, and then you give that 3-month period where you put aside your needs and you just focus on them, and you just you don't worry about yourself, and then you see no response from them at all, then okay. But
do you realize that
will never happen?
Did you just realize that you just said 3 months and I said a year? Because when I first answered, I said, as long as you're working to fix it, because I agree with you. Like, you can't sit back and do nothing and be like, let's see if it gets fixed. Like, you have to be trying to fix it, and you have to be focused on that, and you need to change things. But I said, if for a year they didn't do anything because you can't control them, then you could leave. You said 3 months. So that's the thing. And then you also said never ever leave. So it's like, I get that it's complicated, but I feel like there does have to come a point, and maybe each person determines what it is for them. But like, I think the thing that we both said, where if you put all your effort into focusing on your partner and trying to fix what you guys have going on, and like fix the things that you can fix within yourself and treat them better, and see what happens in that circumstance. Try to end the crazy cycle. Read the Love and Respect book, and read the Empowered Wife book if you're a woman. And I'm sure you have some books for men as well too that they can read. But like, do all that. And then figure out a timeline where if you're not getting anything back, then there is time to think about it. Because I get the commitment thing too. Like, we made a commitment, and I intend to honor that until I die. But at the same time, if you did a 180 and you were a completely different person, and I'm trying to save our relationship, and you could care less, and I do that for a whole year,
then
like, I love you more than anybody, but I would have to be like,
but I've already left the relationship at that point, and I think that's your argument, and I think that makes sense,
like, you already broke a vow. Like, people are too literal on certain things in the vows, which I get, but they don't talk about like why you got married in the first place. And that's to like look out for each other and to support each other. And granted, it's not stated explicitly like that, but it is. Like, in sickness and in health, that's supporting your partner. And if you can't even support your partner in working to fix both of your relationship, because it's both of your responsibilities, you've already broken the commitment. You've already broken your vow.